Hi, this is Daniel O'Connor, and I'm the founder of the Warbit Reuse Network. For the next 20 minutes, I'm going to talk about reuse and repair of surplus assets within organisations and also between organisations. In the first 10 minutes, I'm going to give you the business case for reuse with some facts and figures on why reuse beats recycling for environmental, social, and financial impact. And in the second half of the presentation, I'm going to give you a demonstration on how the Warbit Reuse Network functions. Okay, so I started the Warbit Reuse Network in 2011 when I used to work as a waste manager in a large organisation. I was tired of seeing surplus assets which were perfectly usable and functional. I was tired of seeing surplus assets in skips and bins, and I decided to do something about it. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to talk about why reuse has a much greater impact than recycling. I'm going to give you facts and figures so that you can go away and create your own business case to improve and put some more resources into reuse and repair in your organization. Reuse has several benefits internally for a large and small organization. The most obvious benefit is that when staff reuse items, i.e. they swap items between each other, you don't produce waste. Now, when you see a surplus asset in a bin or a skip, it's easy to assume that the cost disposal is just the weight of the item. That is not true. That item has been maintained and moved and looked after while it's been in the organisation, and while it's been in the organisation, it has incurred costs throughout. When you make your business case for reuse, don't just include the waste disposal costs because they're actually much higher. Other internal benefits. So when you swap and trade surplus assets internally, you obviously stop or delay the purchase of new assets. And this can add up over time. This is the biggest financial saving actually, is the reduction in procurement demand. Okay. Second internal benefit, which relates to that, which is often not appreciated, is when you allow staff to swap and trade surplus assets, staff don't need to raise purchase orders and go through the whole admin and bureaucracy around purchase orders. So you actually save staff time. Another way you can save staff time as well is when you use a reuse system to trade surplus assets, you can save further staff time by matching up the donator with the claimant directly. So it's one move rather than donator, item moves into storage, claimed by somebody else. So it goes A, storage B, not A to B, okay? If you can get a really good reuse system going, you can transfer those assets from A to B, not A to store to B, okay? Also, you can obviously use this to donate to charity, which is a big social benefit. I'll come on to that in a little bit. But another benefit about donating to charity or schools or any other third party is that they will come into your estate to take away that asset, which again saves you some more staff time. The next benefits I'd like to talk about are supply chain benefits. That is, because you're allowing staff to swap and trade surplus assets, you are preventing the purchase of a new asset. And the knock-on effect of that is up the supply chain, you're preventing the manufacture of a new asset. Okay, so one of the main environmental benefits is there is a carbon dioxide saving because you are reducing or delaying the manufacture of new items. Okay, and those items take energy to build and transport, and that energy, when it's generated, emits carbon dioxide. Okay, so you are reducing manufacturing, which in turn reduces carbon dioxide. That's a supply chain benefit. Another supply chain benefit is that up the supply chain there is lots of waste. So the chair you're sitting on now generated 90 times more waste during its manufacture and transport than the weight of the item that you're sitting on now. Okay, so there's a big waste impact up the supply chain as well. And for IT products, that impact is even greater. So IT products are a good place to start your reuse program because there is so much environmental benefit of the supply chain of reusing IT. So social benefits, I said I'd come back to this. When you donate surplus stock to charities and not-for-profits and schools, the impact is magnified because those organisations can use those assets in their frontline services, which saves them money and allows them to invest in what they do well. And there's also other benefits. Some charities will take your assets and resell them on. When they resell them on, they can generate revenue, and then they can use that revenue to concentrate on what they are good at, delivering social need. So I'm going to tell you a little story now, and we're going to jump into how the Warbit Reuse Network works. So, little story, these are 70 chairs. When I was working in a large organisation, I was asked to dispose of these 70 chairs. The person who passed them on to me, I asked, did you advertise them internally? He said there wasn't a need. So I then pushed these chairs out into the community and got charities to come and take them away, which is fine. Now, these chairs came from a 4-story building with a number of departments in that building. By complete accident, complete luck, I was walking around the back of that building 3 days after I had disposed of these chairs, and I was greeted with the sight of new chairs, 30, being delivered. It turns out in that building, between departments, they were working in silos, okay? So one department was disposing of operators' chairs, the other department was buying operators' chairs, nobody talking. So it was at this point I thought I need to build something which is convenient so that staff can check whether other staff have assets available, okay? So I built Warbit. Warbit is an online marketplace. It allows staff to add items and take items. When I say items, I mean surplus assets. I mean any physical, tangible asset which can be traded. So there's an online marketplace where staff who are about to purchase a new item can go to check whether another staff member has the item surplus to requirements already, thus saving procurement costs, saving waste, and all of the other benefits I've talked about. So staff log in, do a search just like on eBay or Amazon, and they can find assets that they're looking for. Okay, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about that later on. And it's any asset. It could be anything from stationery right up to vehicles and anything in between. Okay, so on our system we've seen things like mass spectrometers, lasers. We've seen whole children's play equipment. You know, anything goes. It's any physical asset that can be traded. What's really interesting about Warbit is we have these corporate marketplaces where large organizations are swapping and trading internally. Okay, now if it's appropriate, if the administrator allows, these organizations can also link up and trade assets across organizational boundaries. This needs to be enabled. The default setting is that networks are private, but you can link up and friend other organizations in your area or in your specialism. And then that goes even wider. So we have a number of cities in the UK where we have lots of organizations all trading on Warbit, and we have these large networks where the large corporations are trading with each other, but also we see a lot of those assets trickling out into the community, into colleges, businesses, schools, charities, so that the bigger picture is that nobody's buying new and nobody's throwing anything out, and those assets keep being reused within that network until they're repaired, and when they're repaired they can be put back in the network again. What's really important about this is that we track all of these savings using our database. We have the replacement cost of goods, we have the weight of the goods, we have the carbon value of the goods, and we can work out, as your organisation is trading assets, we can work out the benefits. Obviously, if you're watching this from America or North America or Australia or Europe or whatever, this currency will be different. We track all these trades. So this shows that this organisation has saved this amount of money internally on internal claims. They've saved that amount of money on skip waste. They've actually claimed this amount from other organisations, so that's assets coming into the organisation. They've saved this amount on purchase orders, so it's admin cost savings. Okay, they've donated this amount to other organisations that are not charities. Donated this amount to charity organisations. Okay, the importance of these metrics cannot be underestimated. As soon as your organisation starts trading on Warbit, you see these metrics spinning around, and these metrics are powerful for a number of reasons. One, they drive positive participation by staff. So if you're telling staff after 3 months you've saved this amount, staff join the network and start trading even more. But even better, for the first time, you have an actual robust figure or some robust data on your reuse activities. And when you have that robust data, this then has an interesting impact up the committee, up the senior chain within the organisation. So the committees start taking notice, and then you can start to make a case for more resources into reuse. If you saved £100,000, for example, in the first year, you can use those figures to then make a business case to grow the resources that are put into reuse to make it even more beneficial. So I'll go a little bit more into metrics in a bit. So to wrap up this part of the presentation, reuse is a win-win-win. The first win is procurement savings. Okay, so this is a graph from Dundee City Council, who've saved this amount on 2 building clearances. The second win is you avoid waste disposal. Okay, so you don't see this image anymore. Third win is that you can pass your surplus into third parties, schools, not-for-profits, charities. You save on procurement, you save on waste, you save on staff time, you reduce carbon in the supply chain, you reduce waste in the supply chain. My take-home tip for you at the halfway point in this presentation would be to explore developing a reuse target within your organisation. Everybody has a recycling target. Not a lot of people have reuse targets. And once you have a target, that drives investment and it also drives staff behaviour. As part of that, I would review your existing disposal policies to see whether you can improve or implement a reuse scheme, and use the data in this presentation to pull together the business case to improve or implement a reuse scheme. As I said, Warbit is an online platform which allows staff to swap and trade surplus assets. So how does it look? This is our homepage, and we have a tour here which breaks down the process into several parts. So it summarises how the administration role works, how to find and claim items, how to build networks with other organisations, how to generate reports, how to do a building clearance, other features and benefits, and also we summarise the benefits to each of the staff members who are the sort of stakeholders of reuse within an organisation. So I'd encourage you to take some time on that. But let's jump in and let me show you how things look. When an organisation signs up to Warbit, they get their own portal, okay? And their own portal is personalised to that organisation. They drop their logos in and it's personalised to that organisation. So this is UCL in London. You'll notice that there are metrics along the bottom which staff can see. And again, this generates positive encouragement and behaviour. That's UCL. Let's do NHS Tayside. So these are different customers that we have existing now. Okay, and you can see that the portals are customized. So let's log in as a normal user. When you log in as a normal user, you see straight away what items are about to expire within your organization, what items have just been added. And you can also see what other people are looking for within your organization. Okay, so there's a wish list function. I'll come on to that in a second. Let's do a search. So let's pretend I'm looking for an item today that I'm going to buy, but I check Warbit first to see if anybody else has it surplus. Hundreds of categories. You can search freehand. Let's just do a blank search. So I've done a blank search. Straight away, I can see what is available within my organization today. Okay, desks, chairs, etc., etc. So these are available to claim today in my organization. At its very simplest, this is a procurement tool which makes it easy for staff who are about to buy new to check whether other staff have that asset surplus to requirements already. Okay, so these items are all available to claim today. You'll notice there's 3 tabs, 1, 2, 3. You can search within your organization, or you can search regionally, or you can search nationally. Let's have a look what's available nationally now. So this is real data, real items. 2-door metal filing cabinet. This is available now to claim from the University of Southampton. I need to agree to their terms and conditions. This is about the legal transfer of ownership, which we handle that process on your behalf. You can ask a question about the item, hit claim now. You'll notice that some items are available now. Some items aren't available until a time in the future. This is because they are being advertised to their internal staff first. Internal staff are always prioritized over others. Okay, so we can ask a question about this item if we want, or we can add it to our watch list. When we add it to our watch list, we'll get an email when the item becomes available that we can then claim. Okay, so there's a watch list, and what the watch list means is the asset isn't available yet because it's still being used by somebody else within that organization. Or for example, it might be a building clearance on your estate where the building isn't clear yet, or the staff haven't left the building yet, so those assets won't become available to a certain time. So you can use this program to empty buildings quickly and effectively. So to summarise on the search, before a staff member is about to buy new, they check Warbit and they can see what's available within their organisation. You can also see what's available in the rest of the country. Okay, I'm now going to explain about the watch list and the wish list. Okay, so watch list and wish list. The wish list is for when a staff member does a search but that asset is not there. Okay, they can then add that asset to their wish list, and if anybody else adds that asset, they will get an email and they get priority. The watch list is a bit different. When a staff member does a search, they find an item but it's not available yet because it might be part of a building move and that building hasn't been vacated yet, or it might be still being advertised in another organisation to their internal staff first. They can add that asset to their watch list and they'll get an email when the asset becomes available. Okay, the next bit I'd like to show you on this is how to add an item. Okay, click add an item, and this is one of the only manual activities that need to occur to get the system up and running. We have an internal target that this should take less than 30 seconds. So let's add 10 chairs. Title, lovely chair. Let's categorize it. You start putting in the word chair and the system will try and guess what you're trying to add. Let's say it's operators chairs, which are the office style chairs. Let's say we have 10 of them. Dimensions aren't important for chairs, but they offer larger items. Condition is fair, let's say. Location, XYZ, building 1, 2, 3. When you add an asset, you always add a deadline because you want to dispose of that asset at some point. Then you add an available from date. So let's just assume it's available from today, and I would like to get disposed of this asset by the end of this month. So I'll leave that in. If I have a photo, I can upload it in the normal manner. Okay, so I can upload it from a phone or from a hard drive. If I don't have a photo, we do have an image library, so let's just click no. If no, choose an image from the library below, select image. We will now search crowdsourced images for operators chairs, so let's do just that. That's a very quick way of adding an item. You know, in this bit you might want to put extra info about the item if you want, and you can also go to a lot more detail, okay, if you wish. This bit here is customizable, so you might want to add a checkbox which relates to policies and procedures within your organization, or you might want to take this away altogether. Then you add the item. So those chairs are added, those 10 operators chairs. Now if I'm clearing a room of 10 operators chairs, I might have some other items that share similar parameters, so I can click this button, add another like this. So let's just say we're disposing of 10 operators chairs. We might have 10 desks as well. Let's change the heading. We've got 10 desks. Let's put some dimensions. Condition the same, yeah. Same location, same dates. We need to change the image because these aren't chairs anymore. So this will now crowdsource some. Same information, same agreement, add the item. So you see we've just in the last 60 seconds we've added 10 desks, 10 chairs. You can see very quickly how you can go through a building uploading and categorizing surplus assets very quickly. So that's how to add an item. You will notice also in the staff area that we have guidance, so you can click on any of these buttons and be shown a video on how to use the system. We also do monthly training sessions online where your staff can all attend via webinar, and we train them on how to use Warbit. So let's now talk about the administration role for the system. In your organization, there will be somebody who leads on Warbit, and this person is responsible for approving staff members, approving friend requests from other organizations, and also setting up the system so that it runs. Resource requirements are probably around 5 days to set the system up and get it running, and then about 30 minutes a month to dip in and maintain the system. Okay, so first thing to notice in the admin account area is it looks a bit different. You will see that we provide what we call an embed guide. This is 28 tasks which we suggest that you complete as part of embedding Warbit within the organization's policies and practices. So it's kind of like a hand-holding guide, okay? This helps make best use of your time because we have rolled this out in over 100 large organizations and we kind of know what works and what doesn't work. We provide you with all of the communication templates that you're going to need, so email templates, posters, newsletter templates. We even provide content for your intranet site, for example. You'll see there are some pending members to approve and pending friend requests, and the administrator can also see the latest items that have been added. I will go through the significant items on this menu. So the administrator controls how the system works within your organization. The administrator can control users and how the users interact with the system. The administrator can control partners, that is other organizations, and how they interact with your network. For example, you can keep the network private, or you can open it up to certain partners only, or you can open it up to others. The administrator also controls how assets are traded, in particular around electricals or any assets that might cause a risk. The administrator also customizes all messages that the system sends, and the customized messages are a really important way to make sure your staff behave in a way that you want them to behave. Okay, so this keeps staff using the system how you want it to be used. It's also really handy for arranging the transport between the donator and the claimant, internally and externally. These messages keep the system running smoothly within normal staff activities. The number one aim here is to make reuse as easy as disposing of an item or buying a new item. Okay. Finally, let's talk about metrics. On Warbit, we track every trade, every loan, every disposal to give the administrator the knowledge and power of data to fully illustrate the benefits of reuse in your organization to your staff, but also to your senior committees. The purpose of this is that more effort and more resources are put into reuse when you can finally put some robust data on the benefits. Okay, so we explore carbon, waste and savings in the main. So internal savings, savings on waste, tracking assets and the value of assets coming in and out of the organization, either internally inward claims or externally outward claims from other organizations. We also track admin saving costs. We also track the value of assets you donate to organizations or you donate to charities. We also track how your staff integrate with the system, so we can track who's trading the most, which departments are the best, and we can put that into a league table. We also show your savings over time. So this is interesting because this can really give you a good tool to assess what communication methods work best for you. We also allow you to download your transaction, user and item reports in an Excel spreadsheet so that you can do your own interpretations, so you understand who added the item, who took the item, when it was claimed. This is for audit purposes, but also to do your own reports as well. So the message here is that for the very first time, you can actually put robust data onto your reuse practices. And when you get the robust data, that has a positive feedback because you get higher participation, you get more resources put into reuse, and it's a positive feedback loop. Okay, so we've come to the end of this online show. In the first half, I give you the business case for reuse. Okay, so I give you the data where you can go away and make your business case to get more resources put into reuse and repair activities. In the second half, I summarise how Warbit works. What I'd suggest is after this webinar that you A, explore a target for reuse. That helps to focus energies. But B, I would also suggest that you will probably have questions that are specific to your operations only. So I would say, why don't you get a stakeholder group into a room, into a meeting room, where we can deliver another webinar and you can ask questions that are relevant to your specific organization only. When I say stakeholders, I mean representatives from the following departments or equivalent: waste management, sustainability, procurement, facilities or estates, finance, health and safety, space management, anyone who is interested or responsible for building moves, building clearances, building decommissions. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that session. If you want to get in touch with me, my details are below. Have a great day and hopefully see you in another webinar. Thanks.